Do you see a future where pricing actually becomes continuously optimized?
I'm seeing it more in the AI natives, I will say. There are some studies that say that those companies are changing prices more than 3 times a year. And when you think about it, like, that is somewhat unsurprising because no one has aligned on, like, this is the canonical pricing. The innovation curve is moving very quickly. The cost implications of AI are very high. The user behavior is changing very rapidly. So I do think as every company becomes an AI company, right? Because that is the innovation imperative, you are going to have to be a lot more innovative in your pricing. But it's actually pretty hard problems because your systems and your people are often the things that are in the way, right? It's like, it's not hard for people to get into a conference room and say, like, oh, we're changing our pricing. It's like, okay, well, can we actually change our pricing where our customer observes a different price? Do our contracts allow it? So I think there's a tremendous amount of change management that has to be ingested as well.
My friend Kyle Poyer, he's a pricing and go-to-market expert. He's doing consulting work for this AI native company, and I think on the call, he suggested they change something about their pricing, and they literally changed it with some live while he was there. He's like, whoa, whoa, you're doing it now?
Can like a 50-year-old company that really needs to change its pricing at this point, like, do that? Those companies are in such a privileged position. I hope they realize what a privileged position they're in, where they don't have the baggage of like legacy contracts and they have like really like, state-of-the-art systems. Like, it's the like awesome position to be in.
What pricing models are getting more popular because of AI? We actually met originally because Scott Woody, friend of the pod from Metronome, I know that you're now partnered after acquiring them. What pricing models are you seeing get ramped up?
Yeah, certainly not seat-based. Certainly not seat-based. The most popular pricing models that we are seeing are basically hybrids of usage and recurring. A lot of folks are gravitating to this notion of like, look, everybody still loves recurring revenue, but they're trying to marry recurring revenue with this notion of, entitlements and giving customers, at least like particularly for more consumer and prosumer SKUs where there's like a lot less tolerance to variability. So this notion of like, okay, I'm selling a thing that costs a lot. It has a lot of value, and it has a value, value chain where like, hey, like I can't give you unlimited usage of the thing that you're doing. So we're seeing a lot, at least in consumer and prosumer, we're seeing a lot of these. We call them hybrid models, which it's like, for example, you see it with Claude, you see it with OpenAI, where it's like, hey, it's X dollars per month and you're entitled to this usage, and then you can go over in a variable manner. Those are extremely popular in that segment. And then the other pricing model we're seeing that's extremely popular is call it credits with auto top up. So you'll basically buy a pool of credits and it entitles you to some amount of usage. The thing that people like about it is this notion of you are automatically topped up. Right. So you can go in, you can say, well, look, I'm going to use these 1,000 credits. And when I use them, I can then top them up automatically. And a lot of discussion about these credits, I think, at least in the enterprise context, is like, at what level are these credits pooled? Right? Are they pooled at the Wissam team level where one person can just suck them up? Or are they pooled at the individual level where we can understand more about like, hey, like these kinds of functions only need 1,000 credits. These kinds of functions need, 100,000 credits. So I think that's been a very interesting discussion that we've been having as well.
This might be kind of a meta question. I know a lot of these pricing changes have come about because of AI, but does AI help with some of these pricing changes in any way?
I think it does. Like one thing that I think is an enormous value prop of AI is that it allows us to pressure test our thinking a lot faster than we used to before. Whenever you want to do like a pricing change, like sometimes like different cohorts in your existing price book are impacted differently. And in a world before AI, right, like doing that cohort analysis and segmenting the right cohort and isolating the change, it's actually like very toilsome for a data science team, very toilsome for a product team. Like, people are struggling to write the right SQL query, to identify the right people, and then modeling the impact. And I just find that rote analytical work has gotten so much faster. So we can at least we have so much more information and we can pressure test our thinking a lot easier on pricing changes. I think A/B testing's gotten a little bit easier with the power of AI. So yeah, I think it's like a good human companion. AI's been a good human companion for very analytical people to just speed up that loop.
Well, we could do an entire series on pricing, but I do want to move on to what I'm calling layer 2 here. So this is quoting. What actually happens under the hood when a salesperson generates a quote?
I'll go through like maybe like a summary version. So when you generate a quote, right, like the first thing that the quote has to do is it has to go and summarize all of the billable items that the salesperson, for example, agreed with the user, right? And if you think about the world that we're living in now, it is no longer a world of like, just pay me $100,000 at the end of the month, right? There's usually a setup fee, a usage fee, XYZ fee. So we have to go and create all of these billable items, which are variable in nature in terms of the time that they're built and when they are built, right? And then, of course, we have to then go generate the invoice, right? And tax is a fully complicated bottle of wax, right? Around like, what are you selling? Where did you sell it, right? Like, there's a lot of like implications about generating the right tax on the invoice. How are we going to collect the payment on this? Is it an ACH? Is it card? Is it bank payment? That's actually not the hard part, to be honest. Like the second hard part is like, how are you going to think about, gosh, like handling the exceptions, right? Around like, hey, I want a refund. Actually, how's proration going to behave? And then all that data needs to go and be sent to finance. And finance, of course, needs to be able to count the money and reconcile the money.
And it gets really complicated when you get to the enterprise level. What would you say is like the long pole in the tent that just makes it such a cluster?
There's a lot of complexity on pricing in an enterprise structure, particularly since like, we know when you are a large enterprise, you have a lot of negotiating power and you're going to get like a multi-product deal that confers like a special discount. So it will take all of those things that are like maybe like the basic complexifiers, but then there's like even like more complicated things that are around, hey, I'm a big enterprise and I'm going to get a special SLA from you. And because I have a special SLA from you, if you are ever down more than 10 minutes a month, you need to pay me, you need to refund me X. There are enterprise agreements that will have like most favored nations clauses where it's like, okay, like we're doing this deal, you are getting extremely preferential pricing. But because of that, we have a most favored nation clause. And, if you'd like to go negotiate with another vendor, there are certain things that need to happen. There might be price caps. Our usage and our price can never go above this. So these are things in enterprises that just make that relationship like so much more complicated, and obviously has a lot of downstream impacts on the billing system and then the humans that actually have to go and operationalize these motions.
Yeah, it's pretty rare where you have like this 5-page list, like the BOM, the bill of materials or whatever you're getting in this quote. And then at the end, there's like, and to make it easy, we're just going to do 20% off.
It used to, a long time ago. I think it used to. I have seen, I don't want to age myself, right? But like if I was like the first enterprise invoice that I saw early in my career literally said, we sold, 100 seats at $100. You got 30% off. The world's changed a lot since then.
I got news for you. The ERP category is finally getting disrupted. And if you haven't heard of Rillet yet, please pay attention. It's the AI native ERP built specifically to replace NetSuite, and it's already won over hundreds of finance teams. Their mission is to make the zero-day close a reality, and they're actually doing it. We're talking teams closing the books at 1:35 p.m. on the first day of the month. Companies like Windsurf, Mercor, and hundreds of others run their entire finance stack on Rillet. Revenue recognition, close management, multi-entity, native Stripe and Salesforce integrations, woo! Everything a scaling company needs. They've got 5.0 stars on G2. They're backed by A16Z and Sequoia, heard of them, and CPA-led implementations that get you live in 45 days. That is simply unheard of in the ERP space. If your books aren't running as fast as your business, check out Rillet. Book a demo at rillet.com/CJ. That is RILLET.com/CJ. That's me.